Hi, this is Gloria with stampwithgloria.com. Today I'm going to finish up my series with the White Christmas set. I did 4 different backgrounds. This is number 4 in the series. I am going to use the hardwood set, and then of course we're going to use the White Christmas set. So I just wanted to show you those 2 quick, and what we're going to do is this card right here. It's kind of cool. It looks like a window in a cottage. This is the wallpaper on the DSP. I just love it. It makes me happy. We are going to use several techniques that I've already covered in the first 3 videos. So since I've already covered them, I'm just going to go through them verbally and remind you how we did them, but I'm not going to physically do them. So in order to make this card, of course we'd have our DSP, and then we put it onto our background paper. Okay, and this is brown sugar, and then we need the picture on the inside. So this is a square, or this is a piece of paper cut 3.5 by 3, and I just had the snowman on, nice winter day, and I wanted it to be more like twilight, so I stamped the snowflakes and I colored them yellow so that it would be more like stars twinkling in the sky. You could add glitter if you want, it's totally up to you. And then how did I get the rest of this? Well, the one resist technique that I've taught you in other videos is where we take a blender pen and then we take the Versamark re-inker, we put it in a little paint cell here, we pick up the Versamark fluid, we color in the images that we want to resist the ink, and then we would emboss clear embossing powder over that. So we can stamp anything we want over it and it's not going to mess up our picture. Okay, and then the snow, I just took a marker, I took smoky slate, and I made the shadow of the snowman by myself, and then I just drew in the tree with the marker as well, and I just put in some branches, made it kind of look like the reflection of the tree or the shadow of the tree, because remember it's twilight and it's very pretty outside. Alright, so that's how we got that picture. Oh, one more thing I should say. One of the fun things that you can do with these stamps is we can manipulate it so it looks different. So as you can see, there's a big hump here in the snow, and normally this stamp does not have a hump in the snow. All you do is you just move the tree over, set it up straight, stick it down nice and tight, and then you have a hump in the snow. Whoops, better stamp it quick or make sure it's nice and tight on the block. But that's how you can manipulate the picture a little bit, and I've done that here and on the original. And then once you've stamped it, you want to stamp that image again on a piece of scrap paper so you can cut out that hump so that you can mask it. And then when you sponge, remember this is Coastal Cabana on the bottom and Soft Sky on the top, but when you sponge, I always use a circle motion to go across to make it more even in color. You get your own technique down, whatever you like, but that's always worked for me. So that's basically the picture that we did. So how do we get the wooden frame? Super easy. What we're going to do is take the hardwood stamp, and it's a rather large stamp. And if you're a new stamper, how do you stamp this thing and have the image come out really nice? This is the surest way. This is how I learned it 20 years ago, and I'm still doing it now. What I do is I just ink up my brayer and I run across the stamp one way, and then I ink up the brayer again and I run across the stamp the other way. Okay, so now we've got it inked up, and then what I do is I take my cardstock and I lay it right on the image, and then I use a piece of paper normally so I don't get my hands full of ink, because the edge will catch just a little bit. It's just a smidge larger than a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you don't want to get ink on your hands. You want to have a nice even rub all over the paper so you got a little ink there, and then you're just going to pick up a corner and you have a perfectly stamped image. Isn't that cool? I love it. Then how do we make the picture frame? Okay, pretty easy. What we're going to use is our cutter. And let me talk about the cutter a little bit. I haven't talked about it so far in any video, but I should, because it's an amazing piece of equipment and everyone should have one in their studio. So the cool thing about this cutter is it actually goes out to 15 inches. And then on the back of this, there's a little, what you would do is you would take and you'd pop this up and you'd lay it down, and it's an even cutting surface for 15 inches. So that's a pretty cool thing. You know, if you've got paper that runs a little bit longer than the 12 by 12. So it's 15 by 12. Love that. Then when you don't want to use the arm, you just tuck it out of the way. The cutting surface here has a mat. This is called a mat, and you can use either side of the mat until it's worn out, but the cutter does need the mat, and it's something that might fall out if you're not aware of it. The other thing is the arm goes up and down. That's amazing, because a lot of people, when they first start using cutters, they didn't realize in my workshops that the arm went up and down, so they're always trying to slide the paper in. So I just want to point out the arm goes up and down. There are also measurements on the arm, which is pretty cool, all the way to 12 inches. There's also some extra space on either end of the cutter, okay? So you can store a scoring blade on one end and a cutting blade on the other, which is a very cool thing, because there's nothing more annoying than flipping blades all the time. You can also purchase cutters that are called rotary cutters, and they do wavy lines or different borders to your cards. And you know, I'll get to that. I'll eventually do a video on that, but that's kind of a fun little thing to have too. So you can see that the measurements are on the bottom and they're on the top, which is great. And then also the measurements go to the right as well as the left. The right side measurements go up to 1 1/4 inch. And why is that important? Well, when you're cutting skinny papers, instead of subtracting from this and trying to get it down right, the easiest thing to do is like, oh, I want 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm going to line it up, and see, it lines right up along the lines. I'm going to line up 1/4 inch and I'm going to cut it. See how amazing that is? That is pretty cool, isn't it? So I'm going to do it again. Line it up, cut it. Line it up, cut it. Now remember, when you're putting papers on here, you've got all these grids. So if you're at a 3, you just line it up with the 3 grid all the way down. You get a straight cut every time. You're going to tuck it into the stop up here. And there's a stop on this side too if you want to cut something in the middle. So once we've got all of these cut, let me cut one more for the frame here. Whoop, there we go. And we cut that, and then I want to do the middle, and I want it pretty skinny, so I'm just going to go to that brown section there. Look at how skinny that is. I'm going to go to the end of the brown section. Boom! We've got the middle of our window. Gotta love it. Then you have extra for doing more things later. So that's our cutter. Very useful item. Love it. They really took their time in designing this particular one, and I'm very impressed with it. Okay, so once we have our picture, and then of course we've got our wood pieces, and I know that this square here is 3.5 by 3, so I would just cut these 3.5 by 3. Okay. And then we're going to put our skinny guys in the middle. Now, how are we going to put the skinny guys in the middle? How are we going to glue them? Glue dots? Oh, that would take forever. Who wants to do glue dots? Not me. Let me show you how to do that. And I have mentioned this before in other videos, but it's always good to get reminders. So you've got this really skinny piece and you want to use your snail adhesive. Not a problem. You're going to take it, you're going to roll it right out. Boom! You have got adhesive on that skinny piece. You're just going to tuck that under, and boom, you're going to put it right down on your image. Okay? Gotta love it. Gotta love all these really cool things that Stampin' Up! Comes up with for us, huh? I love every bit of it. Okay, so now the next thing. How do we get, do you see on this picture, if I tilt it with the light, that there's icicles? See, I made icicles. Cool, huh? All right, so how do we make the icicles? Well, you're gonna take a piece of acetate, and you want to actually line up the acetate with the picture, because you don't want to end up like having an icicle that will cover the snowman's face, right? Then we're going to use Crystal Effects, and I'm going to just pull an icicle out onto the paper. See, now see how that works? Oop, let me bring back my darker color here. Okay, so see how that's pulling down there, that juice? So the less amount of Crystal Effects that you put on, the shorter the icicle. The more amount, the longer the icicle. So we're just going to do a couple so you get the idea. Okay, we're going to tap, 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 tap. Good. Remember, you want to line it up. Make sure it's not covering up the snowman's face or anything. Okay, and then the icicles are pulling down. So just to get the idea, I'm going to show you. Now we're going to take our glitter, and we're going to tuck some of that on there, and we'll tap it off, tap, tap, boom, boom. All right. And then there we have the icicles. I hope the camera can pick that up. So then we'd have the icicles over, and I would probably put more icicles here. Here, I did another one that's almost dry. This does take 5 or 6 minutes to dry, so we don't want to take that much time here. So we're just going to do that. And then you would just put on your cross pieces, cut them off, and then you put on the rest. Oh, make sure that you are not covering up Mr. Snowman. That would be bad. And then you can adjust this a little bit so that if you want to make it look a little bit bigger, put the wooden edge right at the edge of the acrylic, and if you want to shorten it up, tuck it up higher on the acrylic, and then you can get the window pieces straight, okay? And you can also see the snowman. Do you know what I'm saying there? So if you stamp the image so that if we put the cross hatches in just normally, it would be like if we put it in evenly that way, you see we're going to cover up his face. No worries. You just sneak up the crosshatch, okay? This is why you don't want to cut these at first, okay? And then you can take the wooden piece and put it right at the top, because you won't be able to see it, right? And then you'll put your other piece down the side, and then you'll sneak, you've got a 1/4 inch to work with to sneak it up until the squares are even. That makes sense? I hope it does. And then I just took the modern label and stamped From Our Home to Yours at Christmas time, a sponge dauber and baked brown sugar. I just kind of sponged around the edge. And that is our final background in our series, our winter series. I hope you enjoyed it. Post a comment. I'm wondering what you think. If you like the techniques, if you like the series, I'll do more of them with other rubber stamp sets, but I need to know from you. I need to know from my viewers. So let me know, post some comments. I'll get right to it. I'll start designing some new things. You have a great day. Remember, as always, you can purchase everything on stampwithgloria.com or through Stampin' Up, Gloria Helmbrecht at stampinup.net. Have a great day. Bye.